So, welcome to King of the Rockies. Is this your first LAN event? And go ahead and introduce yourself to all the viewers, everyone out there watching.
All right, yeah. Hello, everybody. I'm Filisberto. Also, my name is. Oh, we'll go there. But yes, I play Mongols mostly, and yeah, we're its first LAN tournament, so
There you go.
pretty
Where'd
new to
you uh,
this
where'd
kind
you
of
come
thing.
here from?
From Houston, Texas, so I'm from the South. Actually, I found out when I was here at this event that Mr. Munch is also from Dallas. So
Oh,
I used to say I was the only Texan who
oh,
played this game, but there happens to be two people. So there we go.
there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, obviously AoE 4, fun game. But what brought you into AoE 4? Kind of what was your backstory that led you to AoE 4
Oh,
and
okay.
kind of
Well, I
everything
feel
there?
like in RTSs in general, you get seeded at a young age. So my dad played some Age of Empires 3, and then when I was a kid, I was like, oh, what's this? And then that's kind of how I got introduced. So back in the day when I was like a kid playing Age of Empires 3, that was a lot of fun, campaign versus AI. And then growing up, I was never really into this kind of thing.
Hmm.
So, however, when we hit COVID, oh my, COVID
It,
will get you to do some
it
strange
it
things.
changed people,
So,
didn't it?
yeah. And then suddenly I'm back. I'm like, wait a minute. I remember a fun game when I was little. So, and then I like looked up the series. I started with Age of Empires, and then I saw people were playing StarCraft 2. So I started there. And then I found this other game called Rise of Nations, which was more strategic based and less button pushing. So then
Kind of
I like
sounds
making
like it helps out
decisions.
for AoE 4, right?
Yeah, yeah, it falls in line. I really don't like where it's all about button pushing, who's better at button pushing, which I think StarCraft 2 is mostly about. And then in our game in particular, it's more about what is that guy doing? How can I counter what he's doing? So it's a lot more mental, and to me, that's much more engaging than just who practiced longer at button pushing.
Yep,
So
that's kind of what attracted me to the game as well. So you
yeah.
already mentioned it, being a Mongol main. Was that your first civ you started with? Did you start with something else and then lead to Mongols, or was Mongols the first and true?
Okay, so with the Mongol thing, I was first and true. I'm like, if we look back in history, who beat everybody? The Mongols beat everybody. So I was thinking, okay, this is going to be fun. It's going to be attack, attack, attack. And then I get to the game and I'm trying it out and it's fun. I really enjoyed the thematics with it. It's just like Mangudai used to be viable, so you
You,
used to be able to use
maybe they
them.
are now.
Well, we'll see about that with their 5 damage. But yeah, so that's how it started. And then the 2TC meta came, which changed my whole view on it. Because suddenly this guy gets to stay in his base all game, do nothing, and suddenly he's ahead. I'm like, this isn't fun anymore because people got better at defending. So I was like, what beats 2TC? And I kept trying things, and then that's how we landed onto trade. Once we
Ah,
discovered trade, it beat the 2TC players, and then those people started complaining, which was the majority of the meta people, and that's how trade got nerfed to what it is now. But that was the first discovery of why I shifted to being a more of a Fortune 500 Mongols rather than a attack Mongols. So that's how we ended
gotcha.
up
So
on the
more of the
trade.
macro Mongols
Yeah,
as well behind it.
yeah, cause
Obviously,
yeah,
trade used to be a lot more powerful, like you mentioned. So they've gotten nerfed a few times, but
oh for
even
sure.
still. So and now, kind of stepping more into the tournament scene, you had to start expanding your civilization pool.
Oh,
You can't just play one civ. We see it here. Mongols is going to get banned every time. I know
yes.
you said except maybe against Wham and Puppy, but
Hey, they should let it go through, but let's see if we even get to play them. But yeah, with that. I think a lot of people don't realize in team games, I don't play Mongols, I play all the other civs. So when I play with my friends in team games, that's where I'm playing the other
okay,
civs. Ladder, it's just fun to
play
just
what you're comfortable
yeah,
with.
yeah, just destroy everybody, it's fun. And then you get people molding because it's Mongols in trade. It's a good time, so I'd rather do that than play other civs. But for team games, it's really enjoyable to play the other civs as well.
Gotcha. So that's
Yeah.
where you kind of got the comfortability there, and then now you obviously are able to pick them up in 1v1s, get a little bit of level footing there without having deep diving into practice with 1v1 meta, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, mostly team game oriented for all the other civs, which is going to put me at a huge disadvantage, but
Team games is definitely a different ball game,
yeah.
but I will say that it kind of somewhat even footing coming in with this tournament, not necessarily with the skill base of some of the players, but more with the strategy, the ideas. we didn't have a lot of time to practice after the
Oh,
patch, if any. So we're coming in, we're reading these notes, and everyone's just talking hypotheticals. No one has any idea with
nobody
what's
knows
going
what
on.
works, and then some people have calls, like people researching back home, their little lab, and like, oh, this works, make sure you do this, and then some people are
Exactly.
coming in off the plane, so it's just kind of like everybody doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. So what change? I feel like I already know the answer when I'm asking it, but it's a different answer than all the other people. So what change are you most excited to see with the new patch?
With the new, oh, cataphracts,
Oh,
easily,
wow, that wasn't what I was
easily.
expecting.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Cataphracts with System of the First Hill. Like I played it when it was bad. Like don't do it. But now they move as fast as knights. You'll get over there as faster, and you start with six flasks.
Yeah.
So I think once people discover that build, I saw Beastie was saying,
Wham actually just played a game. He dropped a good old cistern to the first
"Oh,
hill. So,
I must have been at lunch. I didn't see it, but
oh,
yes, I'm telling you, it was already semi okay if the opponent makes like one mistake. But now they move as fast and they have more flasks. So I'm telling you, it's gonna be
all
big.
right, there we go. I was guessing that it was going to be the con hunter ability, but
Oh, I mean,
I think not only people talk about Mangadai, but I'm thinking like Imperial Age hand cannoneers with an extra range on it. I'm like that seems pretty OP for Mongols.
yeah, and then another thing that's might be big is that with Deerstones, since you have to go Deerstones, you're gonna have movement speed archers and extra range archers. That could be big.
That's
So,
I mean we saw what movement speed did for HRE. Well, now you got movement speed and extra range, like you
yeah, I
said.
mean,
So you got some things going for you there with the Mongols. Any changes? What's a change that you would like to see come to AoE 4 in the future? Whether it's snare from AoE 3, whether it's well, obviously a
oh, like
pause button would be great, but that was GUA's suggestion. That's a
yeah,
little bit
let's
high end, but maybe a balance change or just something small to a unit or
oh,
something
I
new.
mean, we got to fight back against the team game players. They destroyed Mangadai. They made Mongols an ecosive rather than, oh, I have the strongest unit in the game. And historically, they beat everybody. So why am I playing Fortune 500 Mongols and not
So you want to
army
get back to
Mongols?
the aggressive Mongols.
Yeah, I
All
mean,
right.
like, what are we doing here with 5 damage? It's like,
There
what,
you go. So
like,
let the Mongols get back to
yeah,
the aggression's what you want.
exactly. They beat everybody, and now we not gonna beat
What
anything.
about new Civ that comes to the game? Is there a Civ you'd like to see
Oh
come to the
yes,
game next?
Aztecs or Spanish,
Okay. So Aztecs.
easily.
Someone
Yeah.
I think earlier mentioned Mongol variant is what they'd like to see next. So I
Oh,
was like,
okay.
I may not have
The
should have
con.
mentioned that one.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's pretty easy. He was the guy, so it's pretty easy to make him.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But no, Aztecs or Spanish, it's definitely some good calls there. And now back to the land tournament. Obviously, you mentioned it being your first land. Did you have some nerves going up on the stage for the
Oh
first
man.
time?
Oh my draft. If you look at the draft, jeez.
I will
I
say I looked
totally
at the
forgot.
draft and I was like,
Yeah. Let's cover that. So, going up to the seed, I was seeded lower than GUA, even though I in the qualifier I beat him 3-0. So in the qualifiers I was seeded higher than him. But then they tell me that we're gonna seed based off the ATR system. So I'm actually the lower seed. And then we go ask like before the stage we go up, and then they tell us, oh no, you're the higher seed. So I pick first instead of picking second, which I've
and so
been
you had
prepping.
game plan for picking second.
Yeah, we switched to second, and then I'm up here. It's like I haven't done this a lot, and then I completely blank out on the fact if I pick something, he can't play it. And then I ended up picking something and banning it. So it's just like wasting
Oh,
bans.
yeah.
So there was a little bit of that, but also it's like I haven't drafted a lot. I can't play tournaments with my schedule, so it's just like first time plus that contribution. But he did great, so it's up to him. He told me he was quite nervous. I was surprised. I thought he
Yeah.
felt comfortable because
After the game, I will say first game, y'all were all over the place. It was a fun first game to watch. I
yeah,
thought you were about to close the gap, which I think you did make the right decision. You had to dive the bait. He had
I
five
had to.
relics. You
Yeah.
had to you had to stop him before it got more online than it already
Yeah, and
was.
then there's a weird dynamic with OOTD. Their crossbows are actually really good. So I was like, maybe there's a chance if I hit the critical mass and but
I
five
felt like
relics.
you were this close to it, and it just barely didn't come
Yeah,
through.
I lost my mass by staying on top of the farms. Normally you want to stay on the farms so they can't make anything. I should have just moved to the production because even if he has farms, nothing's coming out.
Yeah, I was also thinking because you went in and then you made the ram and obviously the ram kind of got picked off when you had your unit staying over to the
Yeah.
side. So the ram kind of was throwing away resources. But I felt like if you had just full committed to feudal, his food situation, he did have some farms.
Oh.
It was really bad. He had like 25 villagers move over to the berries right when you went in.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's something I didn't take into account. Normally, with Mongols is pretty easy. You always go for the food because Keshiks can get there pretty fast. But because I don't have experience playing the other civs as much, you're not thinking these things like, where's the food?
Well, when you dropped the
Yeah.
horseman, I thought that was what you were going to do. I was like, oh,
Yes,
he's
I,
about
I
to do
was
the
like,
horseman
I was
play.
thinking, okay, normally I'm on the map, but I'm making stationary units, so let me make a horse to go check the food. And then it never happened because he likes to play little pockets everywhere to distract you and things like that. If you,
You did well. I felt like you were playing pockets too, though. And with Order of the
oh, I
Dragon, it
mean,
was
yeah, I mean,
solid. But
his strategy, if you can't keep up with it, you'll lose every time.
hmm
But if you have the APM to keep up with it, it's not as strong as it might look. So,
he did
yeah,
throw away a lot of resources in the bank
yeah,
in the base. I think there was a point at like the 14-minute mark you were ahead in Vills as Order of the Dragon
that's what they
versus
told me.
HRE,
Yeah,
and I was like, he's in a pretty good spot. And then Relic started, and then it just slowly built up. But
yeah.
it was a wild first series. Next series you're playing Makomi tomorrow,
Oh
right?
yes.
So what's your guesstimated score line for that
Oh
one?
well, we're gonna fix the drafting hopefully. So if that gets fixed, then maybe it's gonna be pretty close. He's pretty good.
Okay,
So,
throw a number out there.
oh, okay, 3-2.
There we
I I
go.
s- I I am not underestimating him.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
So being from the NA, obviously a lot of times ladder timings are somewhat similar. Are you playing against a lot of these players on the ladder pretty consistently, or is it one that you kind of have different hours than some of these
I
players?
mean, my schedule in real life is very different, so I've actually get to play against everybody sometimes.
Okay.
But in terms of the people here that I've played against the most, easily GUA.
GUA. So is that what you would say is kind of your rival coming in? I know y'all had that big, y'all played in the qualifier, you were able to take him down. Now he
Yeah.
reverses it out. So is that now maybe a little bit of a
And by the
rivalry?
way, yeah, I mean, we could start that, but I beat him 3-0 on 2 hours of sleep after working a 12-hour shift. So, I mean, it's doable. I just have to do it. So,
Yeah,
it's
exactly,
execution.
exactly.
He's not,
So,
he's not, I think Makomi has better defense than him, but that's for
oh,
another
so
story.
so
Yeah.
you're in for a treat tomorrow. We're in for a treat series tomorrow
Oh,
coming
yeah, dude.
in.
Makomi's no pushover. He can do it for sure.
There
So, it's
we
up to see.
go. Awesome, awesome. So what would you say is obviously, every civ other with you got Mongols, Makomi has certain civs, GUA has certain civs. Is there certain civs that you're always kind of more aware of and kind of more hesitant to play against and ban,
Oh,
per
yeah.
se?
I mean, just goes right back to how abysmal the draft was. I never want to play versus HRE, and I let it go through. So, I mean, HRE is the worst because they can hit you and just run away. Hit you, run away.
I was definitely shocked seeing
Yeah,
HRE
I
get
mean,
through.
it just goes to the drafting was abysmal. So I got switched up and I wasn't thinking, wasn't using my head. So
Hey,
it
that's
happens.
one where you obviously had that shake up before the stage. It's always one. There's extra nerves on the
Yeah,
line.
but that shouldn't be an excuse, right? If it happens, it happens, and you got to deal with it. So I failed to do that, and the result shows.
Nice. So what
Yeah.
about next steps for RTS AoE in general? Streaming, anything like that?
Oh, no, not for me.
All
This
right. Just playing, hanging out, liking to have
Yeah,
fun type
just
of
having a
thing.
good time because this game takes a lot of time. It's such a good game, so I would say it's actually very addicting.
hmm
I think this is going to be in a trend in the future. Like games are actually quite addictive because they're designed to be that way. They're
Yeah.
designed to make you keep playing. So I think it's a big time waster, and to be honest, and it's a lot of fun, but like we could be doing a lot of other things. So
Well, of
I know
course.
it's maybe a hot take, but
What
yeah.
about other games? Or obviously I know a lot of the players here are big into some of the older AoE. I know you mentioned AoE 3, but what about AOM? Are you going to try to dabble in some AOM when it comes out? Or are you like,
Mm,
nah, nah, nah,
no, I
AoE
never
4
touched
has my
that when
heart?
I never touched that when I was little. So if I didn't dabble with it when I was a kid, I didn't come back to it. So
Gotcha. No nostalgia there for
yeah,
AOM, so
no,
you'll be
I don't
sticking to the
I don't see
AoE
the
4.
appeal. And then like, I mean, we could talk about Stormgate, but I don't. To be honest, I don't know why people like that game.
I was about to
But
say it kind of completely contradicts what you started the interview with, which was you don't like clicky, clicky, clicky. I remember casting plenty of games earlier on in where it was literally I knew how it was going to go before it even started kind of thing, and
I
it's like,
mean,
all
it's
right,
just
great.
like I don't know who was their marketing strategy. If they want to market to older generation who likes the button pushing games, like, oh, I'm good at pushing buttons, and I don't know. It's just I don't know who would want to play that. Like you spend like 5, 10 minutes in a game and you lose it in 1 second. It's insane. I don't know how is that fun for anyone. You buy a new car, it breaks down before you leave the lot. I don't know what they were thinking, but
There you
it's not
go.
a good game in my opinion.
Well, what about any final words for any viewers? Anything you want the viewers to know about you? Obviously, I know you said, you thought you were the only Texan, but you're not anymore. But anything else like that that you'd like viewers to know about you, make them aware of?
Oh, yes, I would just say in general, the AoE4 scene is still growing. We're not dead, and I think the value is there. Like, fraud never wins in the end, and as you can see, we have a good product. The game is fun, it's engaging to watch. So, if the right components come together, I think this game could be a lot bigger than it is right now.
There we go. You heard it here first. It's only going to be up from here for the AoE 4
Yes,
scene.
I wholeheartedly believe that. So, hopefully it goes that way.